of my friends say, girl, you better take care.
Good evening, Stealth Community Club. We're back, and we got something to talk about. You know, I guess the news is going to keep progressing. And guess that's why I forgot your name, because I was guessing where you were. Hey, shout out to Guess, another subscriber. We appreciate you, brother, ma'am, whichever case it may go. But this is, you know, we have segments like we had the detergent that was bad for you, and we warned you about it. But this is, again, a segment of breaking news. Breaking news. You know what I'm saying? We got to get you in there, people. We got to get you in there and let you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We got to get this straight, because there's a lot of things that are happening. You know what I'm saying? And we got to fight back. Fight it back. And this is one thing. Matter of fact, this topic that we're talking about is really something important. And it's giving us a chance to stand up, and it's in our favor. Thanks to Trump, and right down through the Supreme Court. And it lets people know that, I told y'all, history has a way of repeating itself every 100 years. Take note. Let's take a look at this.
Shattered the foundation of gun control in America. And what happened 3 weeks ago is about to change everything for every gun owner in this country. Federal judges didn't just strike down a few regulations, they obliterated the entire legal framework that's been strangling your Second Amendment rights for decades. The anti-gun establishment is in complete panic mode right now, calling emergency sessions and frantically trying to figure out how to respond. If you own a firearm, carry for protection, or have been thinking about exercising your Second Amendment rights, the 10 new legal realities I'm about to reveal could be the difference between unprecedented freedom and accidentally becoming a felon overnight. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what happened in these courtrooms changed the entire game. Rule 10. The interstate travel protection. Rule number 10 just detonated like a legal nuclear bomb in every restrictive state capital. And if you've ever been nervous about traveling through anti-gun states with your legally owned firearm, your worries just evaporated overnight. The Second Circuit just established what they're calling the Federal Travel Supremacy Doctrine, that completely obliterates state authority to criminalize interstate firearm transport. When you're traveling between states where your firearm possession is legal, you now have absolute federal protection that overrides every single state and local restriction along your route. The court ruled that the constitutional right to travel between states cannot be subject to a gauntlet of local criminalization that would effectively trap citizens within their home state borders. But here's the nuclear detail, sending shockwaves through every anti-gun state. The court didn't just protect basic transport, they protected loaded carry during travel stops. That means driving from Florida to Maine with a valid carry permit, you can now legally carry your loaded firearm during gas stops, restaurant visits, and hotel stays in every state along your route, regardless of local laws. The protection phrase that's been legally bulletproofed is this: Officer, I am engaged in lawful interstate travel under federal supremacy doctrine, providing me absolute federal protection throughout this journey. Police departments are frantically retraining officers because detaining travelers for legal interstate firearm transport now violates federal civil rights law. Rule 9. The Private Property Fortress Doctrine. Rule number 9. Just turned your private property into an impenetrable constitutional fortress that the federal government can no longer breach without meeting the highest legal standards in American law. The Fourth Circuit completely demolished the ATF's authority to conduct warrantless searches based solely on gun ownership or business activities. Your home, your land, and your private business premises now receive what they're calling enhanced constitutional protection when firearms are involved, meaning federal agents need specific criminal probable cause and a properly issued warrant before they can even step foot on your property. The court ruled that the government cannot treat lawful gun ownership as inherent grounds for suspicion, and any inspection or search of private property must meet the same rigorous standards required for any other constitutional right. Those surprise ATF compliance checks that have terrorized gun store owners for decades are now legally impossible without a warrant. The protection phrase, "every property owner needs," memorized. Under the new Fourth Circuit, ruling on private property protection, you need a warrant based on specific criminal probable cause to enter my property for any firearm-related purpose. Gun ranges, private collectors, and home-based dealers now have bulletproof legal protection that makes their property essentially untouchable without clear evidence of actual criminal activity. The ATF is scrambling to figure out how to conduct any enforcement without violating this new constitutional firewall. Rule 8. The ammunition liberation. Rule number 8 just obliterated every ammunition restriction nationwide. And it happened so fast that retailers are still scrambling to figure out what it means for their businesses. The D.C. Circuit ruled that the Second Amendment's protection of arms explicitly includes ammunition, and any restriction on ammunition purchases is subject to the same strict scrutiny as restrictions on firearms themselves. The opinion was devastating to gun control advocates, stating that a firearm without ammunition is merely an expensive club, and the right to keep and bear arms necessarily includes the right to render those arms functional through ammunition. Historical analysis shows the founders never separated the two concepts. California's background checks for ammunition are now dead. New York's online ammunition ban is unconstitutional. Illinois' serialized ammunition proposals are legally impossible. Connecticut's quantity limits have been struck down. When an officer or official challenges your ammunition purchase or possession, here's your response. The new D.C. Circuit ruling established that ammunition receives full Second Amendment protection, and any restriction on my ammunition that wouldn't apply to the firearm itself is presumptively unconstitutional. Gun stores that have been forced to run background checks on every box of bullets sold can now return to over-the-counter sales. Online ammunition retailers blocked from shipping to restrictive states can now ship anywhere in America. The ammunition shortage created by bureaucratic restrictions just got solved by constitutional law. Rule 7. The business license revolution. Rule number 7 just turned the federal licensing system upside down, and gun dealers across America are celebrating what's being called the end of ATF tyranny over legitimate firearms businesses. The Fifth Circuit didn't just limit ATF authority over gun businesses, they completely restructured how federal firearms licenses work and stripped away decades of bureaucratic overreach that's been crushing small gun stores. The court ruled that the ATF cannot use subjective standards or arbitrary enforcement to deny, revoke, or harass federal firearms license holders, and established that gun businesses now receive the same constitutional protections as any other legitimate commerce. The majority opinion stated that the right to engage in lawful commerce involving constitutionally protected items cannot be subject to the whims of federal bureaucrats who treat every gun as a potential criminal. This means those surprise inspections designed to find paperwork violations are now severely limited. The ATF can no longer revoke licenses for minor clerical errors or technical violations that don't involve actual criminal activity. Home-based FFLs that have been harassed out of business by zoning complaints and neighborhood pressure now have federal protection. The protection phrase that every gun dealer needs. Under the new Fifth Circuit business protection ruling, my FFL operations are constitutionally protected commerce that cannot be subjected to arbitrary enforcement or harassment. Processing times for new licenses that have stretched for months are now capped at 60 days. And the ATF must provide specific criminal justification for any denial or revocation. Rule 6. The Digital Privacy Shield, Rule number 6, just made your digital privacy legally bulletproof. And the implications are so massive that every government agency tracking gun owners is scrambling to figure out what they can still legally do. The Ninth Circuit ruled that digital surveillance of gun owners violates the Fourth Amendment when combined with Second Amendment activities, creating what they're calling an impenetrable digital fortress around your firearms-related online behavior. The court found that the government was using cell phone data, internet searches, credit card transactions, and social media monitoring to create comprehensive profiles of gun owners, then using that information to target them for investigations. The judge wrote that the government cannot transform the exercise of a constitutional right into perpetual digital surveillance, and when technology allows the state to monitor every aspect of lawful gun ownership, it crosses the line from regulation to oppression. This means tracking your visits to gun stores through location data is now illegal. Monitoring your online ammunition purchases violates your privacy rights. Recording your gun-related internet searches requires a specific warrant. Social media surveillance based on firearms content is unconstitutional. The protection phrase that destroys government snooping. Officer, I do not consent to any digital searches of my devices or records. And any surveillance based on lawful firearm ownership violates the new Ninth Circuit ruling on digital privacy. States maintaining gun registries now have to prove they're not sharing data with federal agencies or using it for surveillance purposes. And if they can't prove it, those registries become unconstitutional overnight. Rule 5. The carry permit revolution. Rule number 5 just made every restrictive carry law in America legally impossible. And the language the Supreme Court used is so broad that legal experts are calling it the death of discretionary licensing nationwide. In a shocking 6-3 decision, the court declared that the Second Amendment contains no geographic limitations, and a right delayed is a right denied, while a right restricted to certain citizens based on subjective criteria is no right at all. The court established 3 bombshell principles that are forcing 12 states to completely overhaul their carry permit systems immediately. First, any carry permit system that takes longer than 30 days is presumptively unconstitutional. Second, subjective good cause requirements are completely dead across all 50 states. Third, states cannot charge more than $50 for a carry permit, period. The majority opinion was devastating to may-issue states, stating that arbitrary delays, subjective standards, and prohibitive fees transform a constitutional right into a government-granted privilege, which the Constitution forbids. Here's the phrase that every gun owner needs memorized. Under the new Supreme Court precedent, I have a constitutional right to carry that cannot be subjected to arbitrary delays, subjective standards, or prohibitive fees. Applications that have been pending for months in restrictive states are now automatically approved after 30 days. California, New York, New Jersey, and 9 other states just had their entire carry permit systems invalidated. Police chiefs who have been rubber stamping denials for decades now face personal liability if they continue rejecting applications without objective criminal justification. Rule 4. The Registration Destruction Order. Rule number 4 just ordered the federal government to delete millions of gun owner records, and the ruling is so comprehensive that it's being called the complete death of gun registration in America. The D.C. Circuit didn't just limit the ATF's record keeping, they ordered the immediate destruction of all digitized gun owner databases within 90 days, and found that maintaining searchable records violates both federal law and the Second Amendment. The court ruled that Congress explicitly prohibited a federal gun registry when they passed the Firearm Owners Protection Act, and the ATF's practice of maintaining searchable databases of gun purchases, even if they call it something else, is precisely what Congress forbade. The judge wrote that the court is not fooled by semantic games, and a searchable database by any other name is still an illegal registry. But here's the nuclear bombshell that's sending shockwaves through every state capital. The court ruled that any state sharing registry information with federal agencies is participating in an illegal federal registry and must immediately stop or face federal prosecution. States now must choose between keeping their registries purely local or losing them entirely. The protection phrase that matters. The new D.C. Circuit ruling prohibits any federal database of gun owners, and any attempt to record my information in a searchable federal system violates federal law and court order. The NRA is calling this the biggest victory in their organizational history. The ATF has 90 days to prove they've destroyed every digitized record or face contempt of court charges, and state attorneys general are frantically reviewing their data sharing agreements with federal agencies. Rule 3. The Seizure Immunity Protocol. Rule number 3 just dropped a tactical nuclear weapon on civil asset forfeiture and red flag laws in one devastating 7-2 Supreme Court decision that's being called the most important Fourth Amendment ruling in 50 years. The Chief Justice delivered a majority opinion that completely obliterates the government's ability to seize firearms without criminal charges, stating that the government cannot seize property, especially constitutionally protected property like firearms, without a criminal conviction, and pre-conviction seizures violate both the Second and Fourth Amendments simultaneously. This means red flag laws that don't require actual criminal charges are now unconstitutional across all 50 states. Civil asset forfeiture of firearms is completely dead. Temporary seizures during investigations are now illegal unless someone is actually arrested and charged with a specific crime. The court established what they're calling the criminal conviction requirement. No seizure of firearms is permitted without an arrest, formal charges, and due process. Police can no longer say, "We're taking your guns while we investigate," or "Someone said you might be dangerous, so we're confiscating everything." Your nuclear response to any seizure attempt. The new Supreme Court precedent prohibits the seizure of firearms without arrest and criminal charges, and any attempt to take my firearms without arresting me for a specific crime violates the Second and Fourth Amendments. Police departments across the country are frantically retraining officers because those who seize guns without proper arrest and charges now face personal civil liability. Qualified immunity doesn't protect officers when they violate clearly established Supreme Court precedent, meaning cops who ignore this ruling pay out of their own pockets when they get sued. Rule 2, the enforcement accountability hammer. Rule number 2, just reversed. Qualified immunity entirely for Second Amendment violations. And law enforcement across America is in complete panic mode because officers now face the same personal liability as any other citizen who violates constitutional rights. The Eighth Circuit didn't just modify qualified immunity protections, they eliminated them completely when it comes to gun rights violations. The judge delivered an opinion that's sending shockwaves through every police department in the country, stating that when officers violate clearly established Second Amendment rights, they face personal civil liability because the badge is not a license to infringe on the Bill of Rights. Here's what just happened to change everything about police interactions with armed citizens. Officers who violate your gun rights now face personal civil liability that comes out of their own bank accounts, not department budgets. They receive no qualified immunity protection for constitutional violations. They face potential federal prosecution under civil rights statutes. They get mandatory inclusion on Brady lists, which effectively ends their law enforcement careers. The court established what legal experts are calling the September Doctrine. If a reasonable citizen would know that taking someone's guns, arresting them for legal carry, or searching them based solely on firearm possession violates the Second Amendment, then officers are presumed to know it too. The magic phrase that puts officers on immediate legal notice. Officer, under the new Eighth Circuit ruling, you face personal liability for any violation of my Second Amendment rights, and qualified immunity does not protect violations of clearly established gun rights. One officer in Minneapolis is already facing a $2 million personal judgment for arresting someone legally carrying, and insurance companies are dropping police liability coverage for Second Amendment violations. Rule 1, the constitutional carry mandate. Rule number 1 just became the single most consequential gun rights victory in American history, and what the Supreme Court established 3 weeks ago makes every other ruling on this list look like a warm-up act. In a landmark 6-3 decision that sent shockwaves through every state legislature, the court ruled that requiring any permit, license, or government permission to carry a firearm for self-defense is facially unconstitutional under the Second Amendment. The majority opinion was absolutely devastating to gun control advocates, with the Chief Justice writing that the right to keep and bear arms is not a privilege to be licensed by the state, but a fundamental constitutional guarantee that exists independent of government permission, and any requirement that citizens obtain advance approval before exercising this right transforms the Second Amendment from a constitutional guarantee into a regulatory framework. This means every single permit requirement in America, whether shall issue, may issue, or constitutional carry with training mandates, is now presumptively unconstitutional. The court established what they're calling the permit abolition doctrine that makes one thing crystal clear. If you can legally own a firearm, you have an automatic constitutional right to carry it for self-defense without asking anyone's permission. States can still prohibit criminals and other prohibited persons from carrying, but law-abiding citizens cannot be required to obtain licenses, complete training courses, or pay fees before exercising their Second Amendment rights. The protection phrase that every American needs to know. Under the new Supreme Court mandate, my right to carry firearms for self-defense cannot be conditioned on obtaining government permission, and any permit requirement violates the Second Amendment's clear text. 25 states are frantically dismantling their entire permit systems. Police departments are retraining officers to stop asking for carry permits, and prosecutors are dropping thousands of unlicensed carry cases because the charges are no longer constitutional. These court rulings aren't just legal victories. They're the complete restoration of constitutional freedoms that never should have been restricted in the first place. The Second Amendment is no longer treated as a second-class right, and every gun owner in America now has legal protections that previous generations could only dream of. But here's the critical part. Knowing these 10 new rules isn't just about protecting yourself from government overreach. It's about ensuring that every law-abiding American can exercise their constitutional rights without fear of prosecution or harassment. Subscribe to this channel right now and hit that notification bell, because these legal changes are happening fast, and staying informed could be the difference between freedom and felony charges. Share this video with every gun owner.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Here again, the Still Community, bringing you an insight on something that other channels won't be doing. We're trying to cover it all for our listeners. This is a plus for us because I feel so. Like I said, strictly one Butterhole's opinion. Biden, as you remember, was in there. He's trying to stop the sale of guns. And he also was telling us that he's going to stop the sales of bullets. And as you remember, old Kamala got up there on the Oprah Winfrey little podcast show saying that she owns a gun and she's not afraid to use it. But, and she didn't mean to say that, saying maybe her group will clean that up, because that's not what she meant to say. Rightfully caught, her laws are applied differently to ours. And so by him letting 20 to 30 million vegetable-headed people like him and her in here able to disregard what law-abiding, tax-paying citizens have done, you're already taking our money from us and giving it to them. Now you're taking our arms from us and even destroying the chance where we can buy bullets for the weapons that we have to defend ourselves. So we were doomed. This is what they done for you. And for the life of me, I can't understand it. Maybe George Soros allegedly is paying a lot more than 100, 200, 300, some say it's 1,000 a day for you to get out there and hold up signs and fight against Americans. So this is a step in a forward direction for me. It's a step in the direction where I can protect me and my family, not to lawfully go out and try and hurt anybody. But it puts you on the same playing level. So you come over here to America thinking you can just walk over us and get illegal weapons and shoot up Americans walking down the sidewalk, walking in the park. And with Biden and Kamala's rules, we had no way to defend ourselves. I really think these people, it's crazy. I think they really get high on crime. And what I'm trying to do, especially with my ethnic group and the whole community that I'm with, don't fall into that trend. Don't make wise decisions for yourself. And Trump's provided a way in the Supreme Court, people with common sense, that you can defend yourself. People, I can go through it all day. I got 9 different feeds of news. And it's all terrible news. It's all murder. It's all killing. I ain't talking about abroad. I'm talking about in America. So they cleared up 50 states to where we can brandish and carry our firearms. And this is a great thing. Again, thank you to the Supreme Court. Thank you, Donald Trump. And again, thank my community out there for liking, sharing, subscribing. And please watch all the videos if you can. I really appreciate it. All the way through. But on our breaking news videos that we bringing out to you, to admonish you on things that are happening, to protect you and your family, look through the whole video and get the full information. I love y'all. I don't want to hold you up too long on that. It is all bad news, but it's good to know finally we're even the score on something. Now we got to get them to stop taking our money. Donald Trump and his crew is working very, very hard on that. Hey, community, I got a quick question. Y'all give me a little feedback on this and see if you're on the same playing field. Since they're hating so much what we're trying to do, or what Donald Trump's trying to do on the common sense level. Doge hating on Elon, destroying his cars and stuff. This man was able to go up there where we couldn't, NASA couldn't even do it, and bring back astronauts that look like Biden, just like with leaving Afghanistan and stuff, left all planes, wars, and bullets, millions. Show pictures of it, of guns, ammunition and stuff over there. Helicopters, Humvees, you name it. We just left it. And Trump said he wants his stuff back, rightfully so. Because he cares about the taxpayer money. Just give me a comment back on this. And y'all get me straight if I'm wrong. Say, hey, Big Daddy, you're thinking wrong on that. All this money that they're allocating and taking from us by Trump cutting all these dead fat, just fat, no good, doing nothing for us. These people get paid thousands of dollars. Of course, Chuck Schumer decided to shut the government down to get his point across. He's a bad boy, yeah. But just say, for instance, since people go against everything, and I see a lot of old people out there yelling and screaming, oh, the Republicans are this, the Republicans are that. We need to get rid of them, take it to the streets, take it to the streets. Can't even pick a cane up good, much less taking it to the streets. When Trump gets all this surplus money back, already they're looking at the Doge check rising up to be $2,000, maybe better. As he cuts the fat, cuts out the junk, You people who are going against every single thing. And he's going to distribute these checks fairly. Y'all go ahead and tell him you don't need it because you're not a part of it. Give it back. Don't worry about it. We don't need you. Your money. Give it back. And I want to take a poll. When those checks come out, how many of these people you see out here fighting, acting crazy, causing all this trouble? We don't want your money. Do like Elon and Trump are doing. Not taking a check. We don't need your money. Take your $2,000 check back. If it's up to $3,000, take your $3,000 check back. If it's up to $5,000, take it back. Because I don't want to participate in it. And if you have one person do that, oh my goodness, I might roll over. I bet you won't hear one person on the news, on the news, anywhere, not accepting it. Same thing, the freaking Congress in there. Chuck Schumer, they shut down the government. Pocahontas and fucking, excuse me, YouTube, excuse me, people. I get to go on sometimes, it just gets me. But, same thing with the other grandma in there that broke her hip. Nancy Pelosi. And the old fuck, oh, excuse me again. Oh my goodness. They got me going, y'all, I'm sorry. But same thing with, Shaka Khan. No, she ain't good enough for Shaka Khan.
Warren.
Dodo Crockett, that's good. She ain't good enough for the dodo bird. Just Crockett. Should put her on a rocket and let it fly far away. Don't ever come back. But anyway, her and a gleaming hope of all the rest, that old big ear wannabe Obama, a king, like he's some kind of black African king. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. Man, go sit down somewhere. We're winning. We got them on the run. I remember that little speech. We got them on the run. Donald Trump's not winning. We got them on the run. I ain't see Donald Trump run nowhere. All those people, Donald Trump, please garnish their wages. Take them back. Give it to the American people. They're there to do a job. We are paying them for it. Give it back. You don't deserve it. Give it back. You're going to play with the government like that. Take money from earnest, hard-working people, but you still want us to pay taxes so you can get the check. You still want Elon and Donald Trump to find the fat. Double the money you already asked for a raise. Double the money. You get more time off than any job on earth. You got more bonuses than any job on earth. And every last one of y'all are millionaires. Not 100,000. Million. Not a million. Million. Investigate that. You worry about what poor blue-collar people are making. Turn the spotlight on you. How you get yours? Then come talk to me. But take it all back. They fighting, they protest and everything. Evidently they're not with that program. I don't need nothing y'all got. That's where I am. I don't want nothing you got. Bet it up. They're going to shut up. Because they're greedy. They want their money. But they want to talk that slapperoo junk. And create fear, monger, and hatred. But on the other end, that's what you call a pure hypocrite. On the other end, they take. So on that note, y'all, just holler back at me. Let me know if I'm thinking wrong, if I'm feeling wrong. Because everywhere I'm 65, going on 66. wherever I worked at, I had to give a full day's work for a full day's pay. Sometimes I didn't feel I got full day's pay, but I still did it. I needed the money, time, and what showed me I had to go. Hey, I got to take it. Can't worry about being blank. Can't worry about what this guy got. Can't hate this guy because I'm going to get mine. Maybe he's working one job and I got to get two to get it. I get it. And it makes me appreciate it more. Because can't nobody come up to me talking about, you robbed me, you did it off the coattails of myself. You didn't make that on me. I did it. It wasn't drugs, wasn't nothing else. I worked and got it. So y'all check it out. Ask that question for me. Like, share, subscribe, and please comment. We love you. See you on the next one.